What's happening, guys? Welcome back to JTX. Today we are going back to where this channel kind of started. So most of you started coming to this channel with my work on the Hover app right at the beginning of the year. Now, as most of you know, Hover seems almost dead and buried with a sharp decline in usage. And this is definitely not an I told you so, but I definitely told you so. Now, given the decline of the app, you would believe that there wouldn't be an app that's trying to do exactly the same thing, except there is an app that's trying to do exactly the same thing, almost. Now, how did I become aware of this app? Well, I became aware of this app because the COO of Hover, Jay, left Hover to go to this new app called Freshcut. Now, I had agreed not to use this man's name again, except he's gone from one dodgy app to an even more dodgy app. And at the end of the day, if they're going to associate themselves with these kind of projects, I'm going to call it out. I'm sorry. But there is one key difference between the Hover app and the Freshcut app. If you've seen my Hover videos before or experienced the Hover app for yourself, you will know that they had a gravity system which could help you push your content the more gravity that you had. Now, Freshcut is planning to do the same thing, but with a cryptocurrency, its own cryptocurrency. Now, before we take a dive in to look at the app, I want to preface this and give a big shout out to Tanner. I had become aware of the Freshcut app, but Tanner made a fantastic post on his own website that really helped explain a lot of the key points that I'm going to make in this video to me. The only problem is with trying to explain crypto is it does get quite complicated. And even somebody like me who's slightly educated in crypto and definitely very interested, I still had to read it a few times to fully understand it. Now, that is not a detriment at all to Tanner. It just is a very complicated subject. So my goal in making this video is to build upon the points that Tanner has made, as well as some of my own analysis, and try to explain everything to you about Freshcut as simply as I possibly can. But please, if some of this does go over your head, or you feel I haven't explained it well enough, don't hesitate to get in contact with me and I will try and help you out as best I can. Thanks again to all of you out there that keep supporting me, and I hope you do enjoy. So what is Freshcut? Freshcut is a short-form content app for creators to post their gaming clips on, just like Hover. But Joe, Hover has crashed and burned. What makes this app different? What is its niche? Or, niche, if you say it incorrectly. Well, I'm glad you asked. Freshcut offers a membership for users which will allow them to earn in-app currency called Freshcut Diamonds. These Freshcut Diamonds, or FCD, will work in a similar way to how Hover's gravity system worked, but with a few differences. One is that you'll be able to tip the creators you like with FCD, which is great, right? Good creators getting recognized for what they do. Only, firstly, you'll have to be a member to earn FCD. So before you can do that, you will need to hold at least $25 worth of FCD. And it's at this point that things start to get a little bit fishy. Now, I know a lot of people neither care for cryptocurrency or know what it is, so I'm going to give a very, very basic explanation. Cryptocurrency at a very basic level is divided into two main categories. Mined crypto, which are digital currencies you've probably heard of, such as Bitcoin and Ethereum, and the newer, more eco-friendly cryptocurrencies, which do not use mining to generate more of the currency. Mining requires a lot of computer processing power to break complex mathematical equations to validate a transaction by anyone's computer systems who's managed to complete it. The person who owns that computer will then earn some new Bitcoin for completing that equation. This transaction is then confirmed across a network of computers, and this is what makes it incredibly safe. Because if one system is hacked, the whole other network of computers can vouch for it, and the transactions cannot be altered. But Freshcut Diamonds, as well as other non-mining cryptocurrencies, select certain high or long-term owners of the cryptocurrency to validate the transactions. There are often systems in place to make sure that this is spread between owners to stop any nepotism or people being corrupt in any way, although it isn't out the question. Now, because Freshcut Diamonds does not use mining, it means there is a schedule for releasing more cryptocurrency available to buy, as highlighted by their schedule. So as the months pass, there'll be more cryptocurrency available to buy and to the users of the app. The price of Freshcut Diamonds and how that transfers into your everyday currencies such as the pound or the dollar depends on how many tokens have been bought. The less tokens available, the higher the value of the coin. So if everyone sells their coins, the currency is worth less. And if everybody buys up the coin, the currency is worth more. Obviously, if you were looking at this currency as an investment, you would want to buy the currency at a low price and sell it as a high price. Only Fresh Cut Diamonds does not encourage buying this currency for speculation. Instead, they want you to hold the currency to give you more perks within the app. So how is the currency distributed in the first place? Well, every time the currency is released, 44% go to the creators of Fresh Cut and the people who invested in them. And the problem with this is that the investors and the founders together will always have the most control over the currency. Part of their roadmap includes a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization. To put this simply, it's the idea that everyone who owns part of the cryptocurrency will have a say in the initiatives and the direction of the company and the currency itself. That sounds great, right? We all own a bit, so we all get a say. Well, kinda, but not really. Realistically, with the investors and the founders having all the power and holding most of the currency, the votes from your small amount of Fresh Cut Diamonds will be extremely insignificant. This means that if their interests differ from the users, they'll be able to pull it in a way that suits them more than it suits the users. Fresh Cut have said they have $15 million ready from investors and ready to go. The people who invest in these products are often shrewd business people, so they're obviously going to be looking to make money. That's how business works. And of course, investments aren't inherently a bad thing. They've funded many great projects for different things. So how exactly are they going to make their money back? Fresh Cut like to brag about how 90% of Fresh Cut Diamonds tips go to the creator and how generous that is. But let's be clear, this is not where the investors will be looking to make their money. They will be looking to make their money from selling their share of the Fresh Cut Diamonds. They will be looking to make their money selling their share of Fresh Cut Diamonds once the price has hit a satisfactory level. They could even work in coercion together to try and pull the rug out of their share, leaving them with a profit, and everyone who bought or received Fresh Cut Diamonds on the app with FCD worth far less than they paid for it. But come on, surely there's regulations in place to stop that happening. Surely they can't get away with that and that'd be illegal, right? Well, actually it's not, or at least it's an incredibly grey area. And this side of things is where it gets potentially very shady. The Fresh Cut company is registered in Delaware, but the Fresh Cut Diamond section of the company, which handles the crypto side, is not registered in the United States. That side of the business is ultimately registered in the Cayman Islands, a tax haven that still adheres to international tax laws. This is fairly common amongst many entrepreneurs, and although there is a good argument that it's morally wrong, it is not illegal. However, cryptocurrencies such as Fresh Cut Diamonds are still usually treated as a security by the United States of America, as investors are given a currency as part of their investment. And if that is the case, and you are trading in the United States, they want to know exactly what's happening and they're going to put some regulations on that. But this is not the case with Fresh Cut Diamonds. Why is that? So instead of Fresh Cut Diamonds giving their share to investors straight off the bat, they've instead given them a promise that after a certain period of time, they will be given their share later on down the line. This leaves them free from regulation of the SEC. The SEC, or the Securities and Exchange Commission, was set up in the wake of the 1929 financial crash to help curb shady dealings between owners and investors of companies. The bottom line is, with more regulation, it is less likely that people will invest. So with this loophole they are using, it gives the owners and investors more control, but it also makes it easier for them to do what they please with the currency. Of course, there is absolutely no guarantee that the currency will increase significantly, so this is also a big gamble by the investors. This is also give founders of crypto companies before to pull the rug on the actual investors as well as the people who bought the currency. So how are they going to make the price of Fresh Cut Diamonds rise? Well, this is where you come in. Fresh Cut have to be very careful on how they talk about their token, and you can see that throughout their information and frequently asked questions. They are clear that they are not encouraging the buying or selling of Fresh Cut Diamonds. Only you have to own $25 worth to be a member. Members will then get perks. And guess what? You can get even more perks the more Fresh Cut Diamonds you own. So it's not exactly known what all these perks are yet. I would speculate that being able to push your content in the algorithms will be one of them, just how it was with Hover's gravity system. If I'm correct on this, it would make it a pay-to-win system, where the more currency you owned, the more chance of your content being viewed. If that was the case, the platform would start to favor wealthier creators over quality content providers, and the problem with this is obvious. There is another problem as well. We've already seen how the Hover app crashed and burned, and that's because it was a niche gaming app. Now, you can find these same kind of videos on TikTok, but also pursue your other interests on TikTok as well. And the algorithm on TikTok is actually pretty good at helping you find the content you want. So why would you download another app to get the same kind of content that you can get on TikTok, but without the other stuff you might be interested in? This is where Hover failed. It just doesn't make sense. I don't believe the long-term goal of FreshCut is to create an app which is successful in its capacity of an app that gets users the content they want to see, but it's rather a plan to gain paying members to raise their share of their currency. Amongst the team and founders of the company, there is some exceptional talent that have a vast experience of the streaming and tech industry. They know that streaming and content creation is a dream job for many, and with so few people able to achieve real success, there's a lot of folks desperate to try anything to help them. I've covered various support for support groups and Ponzi type schemes, and this, in my opinion, is just another way to prey on people's dreams. So if the platform is successful and they end up with hundreds of thousands of members, which, given the 9 million creators on Twitch and over 37 million creators on YouTube, before we even mention TikTok, is totally feasible, the creators and investors will soon find themselves with FCDs worth a lot of money. So what's to stop these founders and investors pulling the rug, selling all their currency, and leaving everybody else with a currency that is basically worthless? Well, due to lack of regulations, there's absolutely nothing to stop them. The people running the company will know what has happened with the decline of Hover, and yes, they have more of a sophisticated app and are integrating crypto, as well as having a $15 million invested in the company. But ultimately, they are there to make money. Of course, that's what a business is. But what will be the end product if you invest your money? You could be one of the lucky few who benefits from some exposure on the platform, just like Hover. But of course, the problem will be, just like Hover, that it is very few people who will benefit. It would be in FreshCut's interest for their biggest token holders to stay on the platform to keep the price high. So it's likely that their biggest holders will be given preferential treatment whilst the little guy buys what they can, which will ultimately not be enough to try and get the exposure they desire. In my ultimate opinion, what I think will happen is that the investors and founders will pull their crypto out once it gets to a point where they are satisfied with where the currency is, and it gives the investors a nice profit and the company a nice little earning. Either way, it will be fascinating to watch, and it is something that I'll cover again. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you'd like to support me in helping make these videos, there is a tip button now under the video, or you can subscribe as a member. That helps me out a lot. However, do not worry, this is not imperative. I will always put my content out for free. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.